Hello, welcome to my channel. I am Mare, this is NiteMare Bliss. I was challenged to do a 50 random facts about me video by my friend Sanniz, who makes all the beautiful jewelry that you see me open from Sweden, and I just realized I should have put the earrings in that she made me, and I did not. Let's do 50 random facts about me. I have notes because 50 is a lot, and I'm going to try to fly through these. Number one, I was born in 1969, which is also one of my favorite Sisters of Mercy songs. My first dog was a Cocker Spaniel, Golden Retriever. My parents got her for me when I was 4, and she was with me through my whole life. She basically was like my best friend. She was with me all the way until I was like 17 or 18, and oh my god, when I lost her, I was actually done with dogs for a while. I didn't get another dog until I was in my mid-20s, I believe. Number 3, I grew up with 4 brothers and no sisters. I was the youngest. I've talked about this in other videos, but there's a big generation gap between me and my oldest brothers. You know, my oldest brothers, no sisters. That explains a lot why I always have been kind of a tomboy. 4, my favorite flowers are stargazer lilies. 5, I still have and treasure my childhood toys. I have a Winnie the Pooh and a Raggedy Ann. My mom got them for me when I was like a toddler. When I drove to Michigan, when my mom passed away a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, I actually took them to her funeral. I took them to the funeral. I took them to the church with me because my mom bought me those, and I've had them for basically 50 years. These 2 stuffed animals are 50 years old. Right now, I don't have them here with me. They're put away in my closet. They're not like put away. They're in my closet, like displayed. Yeah, it's a Winnie the Pooh and a Raggedy Ann. I might let you meet them someday. They're precious and they're in rough shape. But the funniest thing was at the funeral, my brother Jim came up to me and he's like, "Those things are still around." And I said, "Yeah, they're going to my grave with me. I'm never gonna part with those 2 stuffed animals. They've been with me 50 years. They're gonna be with me another 50 or however long." Number 6, I hate tomatoes, but not ketchup. I love ketchup. I hate tomatoes. I can't have tomatoes on anything. I don't like raw tomatoes. Ketchup is okay. Any other kind of tomatoes, not so much. Number 7, this was like, let's talk traumatic childhood. In kindergarten, I was tested. I was labeled a gifted child. You'd never know now. So I was reading at a 2nd to 3rd grade level when I was in kindergarten. I went into kindergarten already reading like 3rd grade level books. It really alienated me from my classmates and made me even weirder than I already was. I mean, I was already a weird kid and kind of a loner. But then the fact that the kindergartners were learning ABCs and they were coming and taking me out of my kindergarten class to go to the reading class in the 2nd grade and 1st and 2nd grade. So that was, I don't know, it made me like the geeky nerd of the school immediately starting off in kindergarten. So yeah. Next, I learned to read when I was only a few years old because I was obsessed with books and I asked for them to be read over and over. When my mom or my brothers would say no, I'd actually recite them back to myself while I was flipping the page. I recognized the pictures with the words that they were telling me. So I didn't know how to read, but I had memorized the stories. So then what my mom did was she started pointing out, she was like, "Oh my God." I remember she said she watched me, her and my brother watched me in bed flipping the pages, and I was reciting the story back word for word, and I was following along like she did with the words, but it wasn't clicking in my head that the story I was telling was those weird looking things on the page that were words. So my mom wisely sat down with me and started saying, "These are the words you're saying," and that's how I learned to read so early in my life, because I was a stubborn child who wanted to be read to constantly. So that's also when we realized I had a photographic memory, which is a blessing and a curse. Number 9, I saw my first tornado when I was about 4. It terrified me and caused years of recurring nightmares. And it wasn't close, it was way off on the horizon, but my brothers thought it was cool, I guess, to go, "Oh my God, look, you can see the funnel cloud." And that, coupled with the worst movie of all time, go ahead, hate me, I don't care, Wizard of Oz. My mom hated when that came on TV because I was terrified of tornadoes. Every time the Wizard of Oz was on, I would have weeks of nightmares again because it just kept reminding me of the tornado thing. Number 10, I can do a lot of voice imitations. I was told more than once I should be a voice actor, but there's more things I'd rather do. No, I'm not doing voices right now, don't ask. I have one of those voices where I can like copy, I hear things, I can do cartoon characters, I can do goofy voices, I can do a lot of accents. Number 11, I went to art school, I majored in fine art Painting, I especially love oil painting. I didn't finish art school because I couldn't afford to. It was too expensive. I actually went to Center for Creative Studies in Detroit, and I was in the fine arts program, and oil painting was just my passion. Would have loved to go all the way through school, but I had to work 3 jobs, and I had a grant, and I had a loan, and I still couldn't afford it. That's how expensive art school was. Number 12, I studied Wicca as a solitary practitioner back in the 1980s. I was actually raised Roman Catholic, and studying the origins of religions was something I was obsessed with back then, and I still am. I took a world religions class over the summer at a community college when I was still in 10th grade. I wasn't bumped ahead. They didn't move me ahead, which is one of my biggest regrets in life. I wish they would have, but they didn't. They left me in my grade, but then I was in 10th grade and I went to college, believe it or not. Over the summer, while other kids were having fun, I went to college. Number 13, Winnie the Pooh made me terrified of bees because I loved Winnie the Pooh. I had my stuffed Winnie the Pooh. It also made me terrified of bees, and it pissed my mom off because I also had bee nightmares all the time. Speaking of bees, number 14, I was a spelling bee champion pretty much all the way through junior high school, and I'm still like kind of a spelling nerd. It drives me crazy when words are spelled wrong or when people spell words wrong. I am that person who will be like, there, your. I'm one of those people. Can't help it. Number 15, I was obsessed with candles since I was a teenager. My mom used to always say it was going to burn the house down, and my room would be like 10 degrees hotter than every other room in the house because I always had candles everywhere. And oh my god, back then in the 80s there weren't those, you know, the little LED ones and stuff, so I just had candles everywhere. Number 16, I had and still have. My dad is still with me, my mom is not anymore. The best parents in the world. I'm so grateful. Both of them taught me my whole life that I could be and do anything I wanted to, and to be honest, I wonder what the world would be like if every child was raised that way. Number 17, in 6th grade, I read The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. Yep, that's not normal. Can't say I totally understood it, but I read it, and it started a lifelong fascination with Oscar Wilde. Number 18, I almost dropped out of high school, and actually in 10th grade, because I was bored. My parents and the principal decided to keep me interested, so they allowed me to make my own schedule. I took Greek myth, Shakespeare, creative writing, 2 hours of science, and 2 hours of art classes. I got A's in all the classes at senior level, although I was in 10th grade. Again, making me totally a nerd that everyone hated. I'm not bragging about this. At the time, I was a full-on goth punk kid and super moody and weirder than ever. All of that just further alienated me from kids. I always got along better with adults. I got like straight A's in 12th grade classes, and I was in 10th grade. But I was obsessed with literature, so I wanted to take nothing but English classes. Number 19, I was always told I was too serious and didn't know how to be a kid. I grew up feeling like children were wasting their time being goofy and playing. I think it's because I'm a Capricorn. We don't have time for nonsense. Capricorns tend to take things very seriously. Even though I'm goofy and I have a goofy sense of humor and a dry sense of humor, I'm like work. Grind. That's what I do. Been like that since I was a little kid. I was just always reading and busy and studying and learning and creating art and writing stories. I did all the young author things, all that. I didn't have time to play. It makes you out to be a pretty weird kid. Number 20. It took me my whole life to learn how to sometimes slow down, play, have fun, and relax, but I still suck at it. I'm learning to relax. My husband helps me a lot. He's like, can you just sit still? Number 21, life is a mountain with no summit. That's the one thing that pretty much sums me up as a person. I'll never stop climbing or moving up and forward, and that also I think is a Capricorn thing. Number 22, when I love someone, I will do and give them all I can and protect and treasure them, but when I'm done with someone, I'm done. They're gone, and I never give it a second thought. And there's certain things that people will do to like, and that's a Capricornism too. We give everyone all the patience and all the love in the world, and you can give them even a few chances, but once they cross a certain line with you, they cross the line and then they're out of your life forever. And I found that always happens. And it's not me being mean. It's just, you know what, I'm done. And I'm not one of those people who waffles about it either. It's if I'm done with you, I will not reach out to you. I will not talk to you. I actually don't even think about you. I kind of forget people exist because I'm like, I focus on the here and now and what's going on. I don't get mired in the past and all that. Number 23, my first love was a little boy named Tim when I was in 2nd grade. We were in the same grade. His family moved to California, and I spent my whole childhood missing him. And I became obsessed with California. I used to just stare at the map. He was my bestie in 2nd grade. He was the best friend I had back then. But I also met number 24, my BFF Angela, in second grade. To this day, we're still besties. She lives in California. Everyone leaves me to go to California. I don't know what it is. I flew to Palm Springs for my 50th birthday and spent my 50th birthday with Angela. And Jamie flew out there too, because I said for my 50th I wanted to be with two of my oldest, dearest friends, Angela and Jamie. So that was a great birthday. Number 25, my BFF Jamie. That's Dr. Jamie in Detroit, who's the lead singer of my band and my bestie, is the only person in my life who I call my twin. He's listed as my brother on my Facebook, even though we aren't blood related. I'd take a bullet for him, not lying. He taught me how to be a true friend. I owe him everything. Number 26, my mom and I used to play mind reading games. We would often call each other on the phone at the same exact time. It wouldn't even ring. We'd just both kind of pick it up and be on the line. And I really miss that. It's one of the things I miss about my mom not being here anymore. I really think that my little weird sixth sense thing totally came from my mom. I don't think that, I know that. Number 27, I bought my first bass guitar when I was around 17. I used my tax return money from my very first job that I got when I was 16 to buy a white Fender. Number 28, before bass, I played violin since I was 7. So played violin my whole life, was in orchestra. Around 10th grade, I decided that was just not it anymore because I was kind of gothy kid and wanted to do something cool, so I bought a bass guitar and gave up violin. Little did I really think violin is still pretty gothy. Not when you're in orchestra though. It's like then you're an orchestra nerd, which is worse than a band nerd. I was, like I said, I was already weird and then I just got weirder. Number 29. I'm actually a very logical person. When something is not logical, I get really aggravated and annoyed. My brothers used to watch Star Trek and I always loved Spock. That is who I identify with the most. It's like when someone tries to explain something or say something and people talk and it makes no sense. I'm like, none of this is logical. I can't deal with you. I can't deal with illogical things. It makes me crazy. Number 30, I can sing almost anything and copy it like a minor bird, but I'm too shy to really sing in front of people. There are only a handful of people in my life who have heard my voice that way. I wish I could just get over my fear. I'd probably be famous. I love singing, but I don't. But singing in front of people is a whole other story. I just can't. Number 31, I can't stand people who don't believe in forgiveness or allowing people to grow, learn, and change. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, single biggest. I'm really patient with people, but this is a non-negotiable for me. You've been warned. When you get to be my age, you have hindsight. That's what most younger generations, you know who you are. You know who you are. Don't know until it's too late and they've already messed up a lot in their life. Trust me, I've been there. All the cancel culture stuff. When you're somebody in your 50s or even older, or maybe even somebody in your 40s, you realize how ridiculous it is and that how really nobody can cancel you but you, because, I don't know, it's just, and the whole idea of it is so stupid. It's like, I always say, like, everybody, think of like how crazy Gabby Hanna is, if you know who she is, or Trisha Paytas. I was them when I was in my 20s and even into my 30s a little bit. I was them. I'm not now. I'm so much more chill now. I used to be a drama queen. I used to be such a bitch. I was a horrible person. I always say that. People probably think I'm exaggerating. I wasn't. I was terrible. I not only grew and changed and learned, I also made amends. I've tried to over the years with everyone I could. There's still people out there that I wish I could make amends with. If I haven't made amends with you and you're out there from my past when I was really a jerk, I'm really sorry. And I am so different now and I've learned so much. And looking back, I'm like, oof. But it takes, the thing is, yeah, people don't change overnight. You don't just wake up one morning and go, I've changed. You can wake up and say, I'm on the road to change, or I'm going to change, or I'm learning, or I realize that I did things that were really crappy. But it takes a long time to really figure all this out and put it into practice. Why is my bird going crazy? My bird is sleeping on my lap, my turkey, and she is making a ridiculous amount of noise. Number 32, tied for hero of my life, is my BFF Jamie and my dad. They are both Libras. They're the sign that is supposed to be the one that Capricorns get along with the least, but I get along with them the best. Interestingly, Capricorns are supposed to get along with Cancers the best. Jeremy is a Capricorn, and I don't have a lot of patience with, or Jeremy's a Cancer. Cancers and Capricorns are supposed to get along great. I don't have a lot of patience for Cancers, which is so weird because they say that Capricorns and Cancers are supposed to get along great. I get along along better with the sign that I'm supposed to get along the least with. Go figure. Number 33, I started reading tarot cards when I was 16. Number 34, I spent most of my money from my first jobs buying books from a metaphysical supply store that I rode my bike to all the time. It was about a mile from my house, and I have crystals today that I bought back then and original tarot cards that I bought back then. Number 35, my husband and I were at the same bars on the same nights. We know because they showed movies on the lower level, and I was the one who brought Pink Flamingos. And he said, I remember when I was there and Pink Flamingos was playing. I was like, I was in the table right in the front watching it. We brought it from our apartment because my roommate worked at the bar we were at. We also went to Sisters of Mercy, Skinny Puppy, Alien Sex Fiend, and other concerts, but never met until I went skydiving in my late 20s. I was glad we didn't meet sooner because I probably would have destroyed the best thing in my life. I was really good at that in my 20s. I am really happy that I didn't meet him at any of those places because we wouldn't be together for 22 years. Number 36, don't laugh. I totally believe in aliens. My husband rolls his eyes at me so much. I'm surprised he hasn't gone blind. I mean, this universe is way too big. And how many galaxies and universes are out there? Don't tell me that we're the only ones. Number 37, I became a Reiki master specializing in animal Reiki because I couldn't heal from losing our first mill dog rescue, Beeps. Maya, aka the Beeper, aka Miss Beeps. She was an epileptic Italian greyhound. When we lost her to CHF, which is congestive heart failure, after a long battle for 2 years, I was stuck in a grief loop, which is the best way I can put it. I got a Reiki treatment at a local spa here in Pennsylvania, right in town. I didn't even know what it was. I'm like, yeah, let me try this Reiki treatment thing. And I was like surprised. So I was on the massage table and she wasn't really doing anything. And I'm like, what did I just sign up for? I had no idea what it was. But it had such an impact on me. I started studying it immediately. I went home and started asking my friends online if they knew anything about it or any teachers. And a friend shared her teacher's information with me and that she also practiced Reiki, and the rest was history. I've been doing it for years and years and years. Number 38, I usually don't talk about the fact that I'm a yoga teacher and Reiki master because it's a deeply spiritual thing for me. It's kind of my Dharma work. If you know what that is, you can look it up. I don't publicize it because it's meaningful to me, and I feel like talking about it online somehow cheapens it. I also don't want to ever come across as bragging about it, even though I don't talk about it that way. I especially love teaching meditation. That's my favorite. I started meditation doing TM, which is transcendental meditation, when I was a teenager. It helped me through a lot of teen angst and anxiety. Number 39, the reason I'm a good public speaker, everybody says you're so comfortable on YouTube, and I competed in debate in school. I did a lot of public speaking. Actually, in debate, I went to the state finals in debate when I was in junior high or high school. I forget. I think junior high. Can't remember. I did a lot of speaking and reading in public. I took acting in college. I always had jobs where I had to speak in front of people, especially when I was a hairstylist. For one thing, you're a hairstylist. You're almost like an entertainer too. I mean, you're doing hair, but you're just kind of like talking to people and being social. And then I became an ambassador for TG Linea, Tony and Guy, who makes all the bedhead products. And what that means is when you're an ambassador, you go to other salons and you go to things and you teach classes about their products. You teach like how to use all their products. When the new products come out, I was like spokesperson for them, and I went around to other salons and did that. Number 40, my first band. I say band lightly because we never even really played anywhere. We just goofed around and played music together. But it was when I was 17. It was the Sisters of Mercy cover band. The first song I really learned to play on bass was Lucretia, My Reflection. The lead singer was a total doppelganger for Andrew Eldritch. I mean, looked exactly like him. And he had the same voice too, that super deep voice, so that's why we made a really great Sisters of Mercy cover band. Number 41, I also dated a guy who was a total doppelganger for Lux Interior from the band The Cramps. He was one of the sweetest guys I've ever known in my whole life. His name was Heath, and I'll never forget how amazing he was. He loved to read. We had a lot of things in common. He loved like horror movies and all the music I liked and the bands I liked. I could close my eyes and still picture him. He was just a genuinely amazing person. He moved, I moved. It's sad. I knew so many cool people who moved away like that. Number 42, I've lost more pets and friends and family in life than most people realize. Could have destroyed me. I learned from my grief, and I have a kind of a Buddhist way of looking at life and death. Most people don't understand how I'm not afraid of death, and it freaks them out. I see it as another journey. I embrace the everything is impermanent belief. Death isn't scary. It's like I want to know what happens. Like, not that I'm going anywhere, don't worry. I don't mean it like that, but I'm not like afraid. I'm enjoying everything in this life. When it's time, it's time. I'm one of those people, and when it's time to go, it's time to go. Number 43, the thing that made me know hubby was the one. He's the only person in my life who ever had the nerve to shush me. I was just rambling on like I am right now, and he went, shh. And he put his finger over my lip. Did you just shush me? He's like, shh. And I'm like, It's the first time a man struck me speechless, and I was like, there's something special about this guy. 44, for my 100th skydive, my hubby and I jumped out of a C-130 at Skydive Chicago, and we did a kiss pass, which is you kiss mid-skydive. So you jump out of the plane, and then you fly to each other, and you kiss, and then you separate, open your chutes, and you land, and it's wonderful. Best jump ever. Number 45, I still have almost all my goth jewelry from when I was a teenager, but my favorite goth velvet black jacket now belongs to my niece Mads. I have handed down a lot of my old goth stuff to my original goth stuff because I don't have kids, and Mads is probably the closest to a kid, you know, the most like me. So Mads got a lot of my original goth wear and clothes and some of the jewelry and stuff. Number 46, I grew up with pets all the time. Hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, no cats. I think half of us in the family are allergic to cats. 47, I had cats in my 20s. Even though I'm super allergic to them, I would sneeze like 20 times every morning, but they were worth it. No more cats because they will literally put my husband in the hospital. He's severely allergic, but he also has asthma. For me, it was allergies, but he's also asthmatic, so he can't be around them at all. That said, I love cats, would love to have a Sphinx, and I always loved and wanted Siamese cats. They're probably my favorite. Number 48, I want to travel more than most people know, but I kind of spent the last 20 years creating a home I never want to leave. Did it to myself. Number 49, my dream pet is a raven. I would love to have a raven and train it. Number 50, I kept and have all my baby teeth because my brother Joe told me that I had to have them when I died or I wouldn't get into heaven. The tricks siblings play. He was a big meanie. I can't believe I fell for it. The fact that I grew up with 4 big brothers and no sisters probably explains all you need to know about me. And yes, I do have all of my teeth. I still have a little envelope. It has all my teeth that I lost as a child. And I have my 4 wisdom teeth in there because my brothers, Joe specifically, convinced me that when you die, you have to have all your teeth or you're doomed. And my mom kept saying, don't tell her that, don't tell her that. It was so funny. Looking back, it's funny, but at the time I was like, why did you guys do this to me? That's it for my 50 random things about me. It was a little weird, but so am I. I'm going to tag some people now. I am tagging Erica from Wicked Awesome Lifestyles, and if Sherry wants to do it, you can do, but it's 100 random things. That's going to be a long video. We're all going to have to go through a bottle of wine or something. Wicked Awesome Lifestyles, I am tagging you. I am tagging Chelsea Gainey. Adrian. That's who I am tagging. I am tagging those 3 people. If you want to do this and I didn't tag you, then you can still do it. I mean, some of my other unboxers on YouTube, my makeup collab group, Mary's Makeup and More Too. If anybody else wants to do it, feel free. It's just 50 random facts about you and you can tag someone. That's it. I thank Sanniz for tagging me. This was pretty fun. A little weird because I just have a really bizarro life. Okay, my little turkey has fallen asleep in my lap now. I'm gonna get out of here, but thank you for watching. Thank you for the tag, Sanniz, and I hope you guys like this. It's just a bunch of weirdness about me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.